Commander Zethkar had conquered 17 star systems. His crimson blade had tasted the blood of 1,000 enemies, and his war fleets had reduced entire civilizations to ash and memory. When the humans first appeared in the Andromeda sector, he expected another swift victory. Perhaps a few orbital bombardments, maybe a ground assault if they proved particularly stubborn. He did not expect to be sitting in what the humans called a break room, staring at a rectangular object wrapped in something they called plastic wrap. "It's Turkey and Swiss," said Dr. Sarah Chen, the human diplomat who had somehow convinced his entire war council to lay down their weapons. "I made it myself this morning. The bread is whole grain. Better for you than that processed stuff." Zethkar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep confusion among his people. 3 hours ago, he had been preparing to glass their pathetic little research station. His dreadnought Death's Whisper hung in orbit, weapons charged, ready, to demonstrate why the Korthak Empire ruled this sector of space. The humans had responded to his demands for surrender by inviting him aboard for negotiations. "You mock me," Zethkar growled, his mandibles clicking with barely contained rage. "I am Zethkar the Bloodthirsty, conqueror of worlds, heir to the Crimson Throne. I have offered you the honor of dying by my ancestral blade, and you present me with food?" Dr. Chen pushed her glasses up her nose, a gesture Zethkar had learned indicated either nervousness or deep thought in humans. "Well, when did you last eat? I mean really eat, not just whatever paste they serve on warships?" The question caught him off guard. When had he last eaten? There had been the victory feast after the Deltoid massacre, but that was cycles ago, weeks in human time. Since then, it had been nothing but nutrition tubes and stimulant injections. "I do not require—" "Sit," Dr. Chen said, and something in her tone made the most feared warlord in 3 sectors actually sit down. "You've been conquering stuff for what, 20 years, 30? When did you last take a break?" Zethkar's warrior-trained mind reeled. This was not how negotiations proceeded. Where were the threats, the demands, the ritualistic combat challenges? Breaks are for the weak." "Okay, sure, but here's the thing." Dr. Chen unwrapped her own sandwich and took a bite. "We've been studying your empire for months. You know what we found? That resistance is futile, that you're exhausted." She gestured with half a sandwich. "Your entire species is exhausted. You've been at war for so long you've forgotten what you're fighting for. Look at your crew. When's the last time you saw one of them smile, or whatever your people do when they're happy?" Zethkar started to object, then stopped. When had he last seen a Korthak display joy? Their culture celebrated victory, but victory had become so routine, so expected, that it no longer brought satisfaction. "This sandwich," Dr. Chen continued, "represents something your empire has forgotten exists. It's unnecessary, inefficient. I could have eaten a nutrition bar and gotten the same calories. But I made this because it tastes good, because the act of making it was pleasant, because sharing food with someone, even someone who wants to blow up my space station, is fundamentally humanizing." "I am not human," Zethkar pointed out. "No, but you're a person, and persons need more than conquest to live." Almost without realizing it, Zethkar picked up the sandwich. It was warm. When had he last held something warm that wasn't a weapon? The bread was soft under his claws, and strange scents reached his olfactory sensors. Scents that spoke of comfort rather than combat. He took a bite. The explosion of flavor was unlike anything from his military rations. There were layers, the saltiness of the meat, the creamy smoothness of the cheese, the slight tang of what humans called mustard. But more than that, there was something indefinable. Care, attention, time spent on something that served no strategic purpose except pleasure. "This is adequate," he said finally, his voice softer than it had been in decades. Dr. Chen smiled. "High praise from a galactic conqueror. Want to know the secret ingredient?" "There is a secret ingredient." Zethkar leaned forward despite himself. "I made it for someone I was hoping to understand better." She pulled out another wrapped sandwich. Made an extra just in case. Egg salad. Want to try it? Zethkar looked around the break room. His honor guard had been offered chairs and were now sitting awkwardly, still holding their weapons but looking uncertain. One of them was staring at a human device that displayed moving pictures of small earth mammals doing amusing things. Another was reading a magazine about something called gardening. Dr. Chen, Zethkar said slowly, what is your proposal? Come have dinner with us. Real dinner. Meet our families. See what we're building here. Not conquering building. Gardens. Art. Really terrible poetry that we share anyway because it makes us laugh. She paused. When's the last time you laughed, Commander? The question hit like a plasma blast to the chest. Laughter. Joy. Zethkar couldn't remember the last time he'd experienced either. And if I do this, if I come to your dinner, what do you want in return? Nothing. That's the point. Sometimes the best diplomacy is just remembering that we're all people sharing the same universe. Maybe instead of taking it from each other, we could share it with each other. Zethkar finished the sandwich in silence, his mind racing. His empire could still glass this station. His fleet could still continue its conquest. But the taste lingering in his mouth suggested possibilities he'd never considered. Dr. Chen, he said finally, I accept your invitation, but I warn you, I do not know how to be peaceful. She smiled again, that strange human expression that somehow conveyed warmth without heat. That's okay. We can teach you. It starts with sandwiches, but it gets better from there. Outside the viewport, the war fleet, Death's Whisper, powered down its weapons for the first time in 20 years. In the break room, a warlord learned that conquest and connection were not the same thing, and Dr. Chen made a mental note to pick up more turkey at the commissary.